Alex Girl, and welcome back to another Storytime Sunday. So I know I haven't done one of these videos in like literally forever, but since Valentine's Day is coming up, I remembered this lovely story. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to call this, but I'm just going to describe it as the time that the guy I was talking to flew out to see his ex on Valentine's Day and lied about it. So without any further ado, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. So one thing I want to say before I start the story is that I have no hard feelings against this guy. Like, this happened a very long time ago, and so if you see this, no issues or cool. This story is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm not trying to start any kind of drama. I'm just telling my story. So with that being said, let's actually get into it. Okay, so my camera just cut out because I need to delete some stuff off my memory card, but we're back. Okay, so at this point in my life, I was kind of in a very weird place emotionally and just kind of like in general, just because I had just gotten out of a relationship and I was kind of confused with what I was doing, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to hold myself back, and so I'm just going to go out and see what's out there. And so this is where this guy comes into my life. I actually met him through one of my high school friends, a guy that had graduated a couple of years before me, and me and him had gone to a party together where I happened to meet this guy. I think I'm going to call him Roger. I don't know anyone named Roger, and that's just the name that I came up with. So we're going to call him Roger, and just to give you a picture of what he looks like, just imagine like a very tall teddy bear. I think that would be the most accurate description. So we go to this party, and I see Roger, and you know, he's tall as hell, so I'm like, okay, what's good, Roger? Like, what it do? So I get a Snapchat, and we start talking, and eventually we start hanging out a lot. And so at first, it's like a couple of times a week, we're going out, he's taking me out to dinner, like, it's all good, it's all dandy. And then it got to a point where we were literally seeing each other like every single day. Like, literally, I would wake up, I would do my morning stuff, I would eat, and I'd be like, Roger, what's good? What are we doing today? It would really be like that because, like, I don't know, like, we just had a good time together. And the thing about this dude that I really liked at that time is that he seemed so safe. Like, I know this is kind of like messed up to say, but after coming out of like a pretty messed up situation in my previous relationship, I was really looking for someone who I was like, you know what? This is someone stable. This person is not going to fuck me over. Like, it's all good. And that's kind of how I felt about Roger. He seemed like a very safe, kind of nice guy. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we're hanging out every day at this point, and not only that, but we were literally posting each other on Snapchat, on Instagram, on all the social media. So although we hadn't really made it official, everyone kind of like knew that we were together, and in my head, like, it just seemed like, okay, like, he's not gonna do anything because he's always posting me like, what's good? Girls. No, like, a dude will really post you every single day and still be out here doing trifling ass shit, so don't trust that. Like, really just find you a good guy with a good heart who won't do this shit, because just because he's posting you doesn't mean he's not out here doing bad shit, as this goes to show. A couple of weeks into us talking, I start noticing this girl's name always popping up on his phone, and in the past, if I ever saw that, I would just be like, oh, like, who's this? Not like being super crazy, but just like, hey, like, what's good? Like, I don't know. Maybe I am a little crazy, but like, and usually he would just say, oh, it's this person, or oh, it's this girl that I know from this, and I'd be like, okay, cool, like, it's not an issue. And plus, we were not even like officially together at that point, but most of the time he would just tell me what was up, and it was totally normal. But whenever this girl's name came up and I would ask him about her, I would always get like very weird answers. Like, imagine Trump answering a press question. Like, he'll say everything around it except like actually getting to the point. I hope I don't offend anyone. Like, I'm sorry, but if you still support Trump at this point, like, you need help. Anyways, since he clearly was not going to give me an answer, I was like, you know what? I'm going to find out for myself, like, what's really good. And like I had mentioned, I had met him through a guy that I went to high school with. So one day I hit him up and I was like, hey, let's go grab some coffee and I'm trying to talk to you. So he comes through, he picks me up, and he's like, okay, what's good? Like, what do you want to talk about? And what are we gonna call this girl? I'm gonna call her Ashley. Bitch named Ashley. I'm like, who is this girl Ashley that keeps popping up on his phone? Like, he's never given me a clear answer on this. and he gets kind of quiet and he gets like a little bit weird about it, and he's like, that's kind of like his ex, like this girl that he was really into in high school, and she ended up moving like pretty much across the country. Like, I'm not gonna say what state she was from just in case anyone tries to figure this out. I mean, I don't think they will, but like, let's just say it was closer to the East Coast than it is to the West Coast where we stay at. So yeah. And apparently when she had been moving, like, he was so serious about it that he literally like drove her down there, and it was like this big old thing. And honestly, I was a little bit like taken aback, because I'm like, okay, like, it's kind of weird that he wouldn't tell me that, especially if that's someone that he's talking to. But since we're not like officially together, I'm not going to be super crazy about it, and I'm just not worried. But I will ask him more about this because I do have this new information, and I'm not like the kind of person to just try to like beat around the bush. Like, if I have a question, if I want to know something, I'm gonna just ask you straight up. Like, I just feel like that's how it should be. And so next time that I see Roger, I'm like, hey Roger, my friend and your friend, who we both know from high school, told me that this girl that I have recently seen on your phone is actually your ex. What's good? And he was actually not like really caught off guard about it. He was like, oh yeah, we're still friends, like it's not a big deal, blah blah blah. And because he didn't react like in a very strong way, like because he didn't seem very like flustered about it, I was just like, you know what, maybe I'm just tripping, maybe I'm being a little crazy, like it's not a big deal, bro. Girls, take notes. This is everything that you shouldn't do, because I swear I got like 10 red flags that I just completely ignored. Like, they went right over my head, so don't do this. But I kind of let him slide on that, and I'm like, okay, whatever, like, it's cool, I trust you, like, it is what it is. And another thing that I do want to mention is that, like, although we were getting really close, and although I did have like feelings for him, I still had sort of remaining feelings for my ex at that time as well. So that's why it kind of wasn't like as serious for me at that moment. But this story gets a lot more messy. I forgot to mention this, but at that time when we were always hanging out, I really just said his name. At the time that I was always hanging out with Roger, we were also always hanging out with his group of friends, and that included these 2 guys and these 2 girls that I actually got like super duper close with. Me and them are still cool, like, what's good, I love you guys, you know, I know we don't talk like that anymore, but like, we still cool. So me and these girls got really close, and we had always been like going out and like going to parties and stuff like that. And after like 1 or 2 weeks, one of them had actually kind of warned me, and she was like, hey, I don't think you know like Roger for how he could be. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's literally like the safest guy ever, like he's so nice, I feel like he's so into me, like there's no way that Roger is out here trying to do me dirty. And she was like, girl, I'm just saying that I've been where you've been, I've seen other girls be where you've been, and it's not pretty. That's like red flag number like 5 at this point that I ignored, because I really did have all these chances to be like, you know what, maybe Roger isn't as good of a guy as I think he is. But I'm stupid, I guess. And I kind of just played it off. Like, I was like, you know what, it's cool, I don't think he's like that, and I don't think that's how he's going to treat me, because the things that I'm seeing him do currently are not reflecting that. So I would say about 2 months went by of us just like hanging out, bonding, talking, spending a lot of time together. Like, I'm pretty sure he had met my mom. He would literally come to the nail salon with me and just hang out with me. Like, that's how cool me and Roger were. Okay, so at this point, it's the end of January, and we are finally approaching Valentine's Day. And that's kind of where this whole thing blows up in my face. Okay, so at this point, it's the end of January, and he tells me that he's going to be visiting his family in California, and it so happens to be that he's leaving on like the 12th or something, which is a couple of days before Valentine's Day, so he's not gonna be here. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, I guess that's cool. And I mean, at that point, I was kind of sad, but it's not like I'm gonna be like don't go see your family, like what the heck. I genuinely didn't think that he was lying about it, just because like the way that he was talking about it, he was talking about how excited he was to go see his family, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool, like I totally understand, it's all good, I'm not tripping, like have fun. So fast forward a week, it's like the Friday before the weekend of actual Valentine's Day, and he surprises me and he has like all this stuff, so I'm like, oh my god, that's so sweet. I'm so excited because like, I don't know, like up until that point I hadn't really had a lot of like actual Valentine's Day moments, like no one had ever done that for me, so I was like, that's all. Sadly, that happiness wouldn't even last 24 hours because literally the next day this all happened to unravel. So it's Saturday night, and one of our traditions was going out to karaoke with that same group of friends, and we would literally just rent out a room for a couple of hours, sing horribly off-key, and probably most of the time drink some alcohol. And I am not condoning underage drinking, so please don't do it, but you know, I have to keep it 100% real with you guys on my channel, so I'm gonna just, it is what it is. But this night I honestly wasn't really feeling good, and they had bought some like cheap vodka, like I'm talking a half gallon of like super nasty, probably rubbing alcohol vodka that I didn't even want to be near. Like I was like, no. One smell of that and I'm just like, I'm cool. So I decided not to drink that night, but for some reason this dude was drinking a lot. Like I had never seen him drink this much alcohol, and I had never seen him get this intoxicated, but this kind of plays into why he got caught. You're stupid. So he's getting totally plastered, and one of his other friends was supposed to be meeting us at the karaoke bar, but they hadn't been there before, so he's like, hey, can you text my friend off of my phone and send him the address? He's like, I'm pretty messed up right now, the buttons are moving, you know, could you do this for me? So I take his phone and I'm sending the address and like do my thing, you know? And suddenly I see a text from this girl pop up. The same girl that had been popping up on his phone. Bitch named Ashley. So I'm like, and not one of my proudest moments. Like, I'm not a snooper. I don't be going through my man's phone. Like, I think that's private. But it was kind of like one of those situations where it was like right there. And it was pretty late, so I was like, why is she texting him? Like, what's going on, you know? So I'm like, okay, let me just see what she said. And if it's nothing serious, I'm not even gonna open the conversation. I'm gonna open the messages. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I wanna know what she texted him. So I swipe down because I'm still in the little messenger where I was messaging his friend. And the text that I see, it was something along the lines of, I can't wait to see you. I'm so excited for you to be coming here. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, what? Excuse me? Coming where? So I'm like, what the hell? So clearly, I opened the messages because, I mean, if you see someone text that to the dude that you're talking to, like, wouldn't you want to know what's good? Like, I know that it wasn't right and I shouldn't snoop, but like, otherwise I would have never known. But I open the messages and I start scrolling, and pretty much they're talking about how he is coming down to, I almost said the location of her state, but pretty much that he is coming down to the East Coast to come visit her, and he's also talking about how guilty he feels because of me. If you felt guilty, you won't be doing this shit in the first place. Oh my god. But that's pretty much the summary of the messages. And at this point, I'm not even angry. I'm just like in shock. Like, when you really hurt me, like when you really like do something to really catch me off guard like that, I just kind of shut down. Like, I'm not gonna yell at you. I'm not gonna scream at you. Like, I just gotta cut it. Like, no, I can't even do it. So I don't say anything to him. I give him his phone back because I could see that he is completely obliterated at this point. Like, I'm talking, if I had yelled at him, he probably wouldn't have remembered anyways. So it's like, what's the point? And I'm not really the kind of person to sit there and try to like talk to someone or be angry with someone who's literally like incoherent. So I just let him be, and I go over to my girlfriends, the two friends that he had introduced me to, and I'm like, hey, I need to talk. So we go to the bathroom and I tell them everything and they're like, I mean, they're not saying I told you so because that's kind of messed up, you know, and like you shouldn't do that to your friends. But I could see that they're like, bitch, we told you. So I'm like, yeah, this is kind of shitty. So I go back to the karaoke room. After that, I kind of like clean my face up. I'm like, you know what? I'm strong. It's all good. I don't need no mans, you know? And I'm just like, it's okay. I'm chilling. So I go back to the room, and since he doesn't know that I know and that I am like super angry with him, he's just trying to act like he would normally act and trying to be all sweet and all cuddly with me, and I'm just like, don't touch me. Like, no. And since he is so intoxicated, he's not really like understanding what's going on. But at this point, I'm still like, nah, I'm not even gonna do this. I'm just gonna try to talk to him tomorrow because I don't want to have to deal with this right now. Like, this man is too intoxicated. He'll either get angry or he just won't understand. So I decided that I just want to go home, and I asked one of the girls to take me back to my house. But before we can do that, Roger walks his ass out into the main lobby of the karaoke place, establishment, whatever you want to call it, and legitimately collapses. Like, I'm talking, imagine a dude who is 6'4", walking out and falling down like a sack of potatoes, because that's exactly what happened. Man's drank too much. And luckily the owner of this karaoke place, like the person behind the desk, wasn't actually like there at the moment that it happened, so we weren't really in trouble, because otherwise she would have tried to come into the room, and you obviously can't have alcohol there because like it's not the kind of place that it is. So we're like, alright, we have to collect him and move him somewhere because we can't get caught up right now. So me and my friend go up and run up to him, and I think he was actually in the lobby because he was trying to go to the bathroom. So we start walking him to the bathroom, and once we get there, she looks at me like, you gotta go in there with him and help him. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna leave him laying there in the lobby, but what I'm not gonna do is go into the men's bathroom with him right now. No. That's not what we're doing. Okay, my battery died on me, so sorry if my frame looks like slightly different because I just had to change it. But as I was saying, I was like, bruh, I'm not going in the bathroom with him. So I kind of just like leave him propped up against the door, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab one of his male friends, because honestly, I don't know why they weren't helping him in the first place. Like, I think one of them had actually gone out to get the friend that he had asked me to text. So maybe that was why, but I go back to the room and I see his friend that he had me text. So I'm like, hey, your boy's in the bathroom. You should go help him. Probably gonna puke, like, he needs some milk. So I have his friend go and take care of him, and I just collect my things, put my coat on, fix my hair, and I have my girlfriend take me home because it is what it is. Like, honestly, I'm happy that I handled the situation that way, because I would have been really disappointed in myself if I had caused a huge scene and just like embarrassed myself even more. Because I mean, the situation's already kind of like, that would just be adding insult to injury. But the next morning I had ended up telling him that I knew everything and I saw their messages, and this man tried to play it off and say that he was best friends with her brother, and that's why he's going over there and not going to California, because he wants to like hang out with her brother and that nothing is going on between them. And I'm like, look, I know that I've been eating up all of the lies you've been feeding me, but this is not the one. Like, no, that's not, no. So literally after that, I kind of just like stopped talking to him as much. He ended up going to go see his ex, and I don't know. I mean, I hope they had a good time. And honestly, I have no hard feelings against this guy because, like I said, at that time in my life, I was still kind of like in a weird place and we were not officially together. But it was just kind of like a funny, messed up situation that I wanted to tell you guys about. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys want more like messy story times like this, let me know in the comments down below, because I have quite a few, you know, like, it is what it is. But go ahead and give me a thumbs up as well as subscribing. It really does help me out, and I will see you in my next video.